5 divers entered the cave. Only one survived, and he was the one who never went inside. The other 4 were trapped just steps from the exit. What caused such a tragic disaster? This is the true story of the Gollum's Cave incident. On the night of August 17, 2005, Jennifer Galbraith, 21, and 4 friends decided to explore Gollum's Cave. It was a cold, abandoned water cave on the side of Y Mountain in Utah. No warning signs, no map, just a small hole in the ground, known locally as the Cave of Death. Jennifer had been there once before. That time, she nearly passed out from a cold and lack of oxygen. Still, she told her friends it would be fine. Just a short swim, she said. No one brought safety gear, no masks, no air tanks, just a single flashlight. Joseph Ferguson chose to stay outside. The other 4 went in. The one who had nearly blacked out before was now leading them back in. Would they make it out this time? At 4 a.m., the group entered the cave. One by one, they held their breath and slipped into the water. The tunnel was just 15 feet long, 18 inches wide, and 24 inches high. The water was cold. There was no room to turn around and no space to hesitate. Cold water brushed their faces as the darkness closed in. They reached a small inner chamber. It was flooded but tall enough to stand in. The water rose to their chests. The ceiling reached about 6.5 feet, with a peak close to 9. Above the water, there were only 3 feet of air. They surfaced and began to breathe, but something was wrong. Their bodies reacted. They lost focus. Muscles slowed. That was the effect of carbon dioxide poisoning. There was no airflow, no circulation. The air inside had likely been stagnant for months. Every breath used up more oxygen and added more carbon dioxide. Oxygen dropped below 12%. Carbon dioxide climbed past 3. That may not sound like much, but in these conditions, the human body begins to shut down. Thinking becomes difficult. Breath holding becomes dangerous. In less than 90 seconds, you can lose consciousness. They didn't realize what was happening. They thought they were resting, regaining strength. But every second they stayed, they were poisoning themselves with their own breath. The group began to panic. Jennifer took a deep breath and swam first. But halfway through the tunnel, her brain no longer had enough oxygen to stay oriented. She reached up, searching the ceiling for the exit hole, but found nothing. The air in the cave had dropped to around 10% oxygen. That meant the breath she took before diving only gave her about 30 to 40 seconds before passing out. Jennifer did not make it in time. She lost consciousness inside the tunnel. Her body drifted just near the exit, blocking the way. The others had no idea. Ariel followed right after. She ran into Jennifer's body and assumed her friend was waiting. She tried to push through, but the tunnel was too narrow. There was no space to pass. She was stuck behind her unconscious friend. Blake came in next. He hit the same obstacle. He could not see. He could not move. The tunnel was jammed. Inside the chamber, Scott was still waiting his turn. Was there still a way out for him? Joseph waited outside for nearly an hour. The group had made no clear plan for when they would return. As time passed with no sign of movement, he grew worried. He called a few friends who were familiar with the cave, then contacted the police at 6:25 a.m. The rescue team arrived shortly after. They began pumping clean air into the chamber and draining water from the tunnel to create space for access. Jennifer's body was found first, just a few feet from the exit. Soon after, the other 3 were located. Blake, Ariel, and finally Scott were found one after another, all facing toward the way out. There was no miracle for Scott. All 4 had drowned. The cause was clear. They had inhaled toxic air filled with carbon dioxide. Combined with the cold and exhaustion, their bodies couldn't survive. Joseph was just a few meters away. He heard nothing, saw nothing, and could do nothing to save his friends. After the incident, the cave was sealed with rock and concrete to prevent further tragedy. A memorial plaque now stands at the site. A short swim, a small chamber, but it cost 4 lives. It's a reminder that deep underground, there's more than beauty. There's danger you can't always see. Exploring a cave takes more than gear or experience. Sometimes you need luck too. If someone who nearly died in a cave invited you back in, would you follow?